17 curious elephants, 10 mommies, and 2 silver abbeys in just under 2 years for one of India's creator-led agency. Today at IIDE SuperSession, we have Viren Sean Noronha, the co-founder of the new Thingf. They are recognized as one of the best agency for social media in India. Beyond that, he's reshaping the agency experience by prioritizing employees and work culture. Stay tuned because this session is packed with insights, honesty, and advice that you would typically not hear in a classroom. Very quickly, I have one question for all you guys. How many of you follow meme pages, podcasts, people who create podcasts? I think all of us and all the content that we see around, either we relate to it, either the content is something that they're selling to us and we go end up buying it, right? So as Lavanya just mentioned, today's guest is not someone who only understands it, but he is someone who's actually creating content for brands out there, which all of us can relate to, right? So thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. मतलब memes और podcast के अलावा कुछ है नहीं social पे, तो देखना ही पड़ेगा.
Okay, so इसके अलावा भी there's a very cool thing that Viren and his entire team has pulled off, and the success of it was something that, or rather I would say, they ended up being in Goa Fest last week and they've bagged quite a few interesting awards. And I'm going to very quickly tell you about those. So just to get started with, they bagged 17 elephant prestigious Kyoorius Creative Awards. This helped them to rank the second largest agency. Alongside this, 10 Mommy Awards. And again in social media space is where the agency has ranked second. 2 silver awards is something that they've bagged at Abby's Creative Awards. Right? So
basically we're really good at being second best. That's what you should take away from that.
And as Lavanya mentioned that he's also going to be part of Meta Reels Award later this year. So that's a little bit about Viren and what is it that he and his team put together have managed to achieve and how is it their success story is like. But I'm sure that he would have started someday and maybe he would have also been on that side of the table thinking of, okay, what do I do in life? So Viren, a lot of students out here are still figuring out as to where is it that they want to be in life. So
you guys want to be here?
Yeah? Yes, no? Yes. Yeah?
For him say yes a little louder. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
So we would like to understand from you that back then when you started your career, right? How did you pull off? How did you think of, okay, do I want to be here in this space? Or there were multiple options which you were considering?
Okay.
How is it that your journey transitioned?
Are we allowed to cuss? No, right?
You are?
Yeah, right.
Go for it.
So I was in a classroom that wasn't as nice as this. Like you guys, I decided to sort of take a formal course, a really formal course that taught me about advertising and marketing, and I did it at XIC. So I absolutely was on that side of the desk. The desk wasn't as nice, the classroom wasn't as nice. We didn't have a turf club and all that stuff. But I sort of entered that with the intention of kind of learning what the job was about before I got into the job. Very bad decision. I know that IIDE's course, and I've looked at your course structure, is a lot more advanced than what's being taught to most people out there. So you guys should definitely consider yourself lucky. They have internships and stuff as well.
Yes.
Yeah. That is where I think you will do most of your learning. So around for the first 2 weeks, then your third week after somebody yells at you, you start pulling your socks up. From week 3 to whenever your internship ends is when you need to really pay attention to 2 things. 1, am I cut out for this business or am I not? 2, if there was that other thing that I decided to do before I got into this, is it still a viable option? Because this field is difficult. As we progress from when I started, which was 2015, Now we're entering 2025, 2026. You have threats coming in from AI. You have threats coming in from an Instagram creator who's not in this room that has 8,000 followers that will happily get hired for social and content over you. So a lot of stuff to think about. But where I think you guys will shine is the exposure that you get right now. So my roadmap was very simple. Let me try and get as much experience, as much failure as I possibly can. Let me be in as many rooms as I possibly can. Let me put my foot in my mouth as many times as possible. So I know, or I sound like an adult when I'm 27 years old. And it took a good 5 or 6 years to sort of get there.
Awesome. So while this journey that you had, did you actually have a mentor? Did you actually have a project or a campaign or something that you stumbled upon and you realized, no, this is my shit and I want to build my career here?
I think great question, man. I think when you first join the workforce, you think you know everything. And you rightly should go in with that slightly arrogant, slightly sort of todne wala mindset. You'll get a reality check very fast. To your question on mentors, I had 3 excellent mentors at every single point of time. Shout out to Kali, shout out to Minaz, shout out to Gautam, shout out to Taru. So Kali was my boss at my first gig. That was at 22 Feet Tribal. If it was not for him, I would have not picked up on a lot of fundamentals when it came to writing, creative thinking, creative strategy, how to sort of take feedback, how to give feedback. A lot of people today still don't know how to give feedback. Clients don't know how to give feedback to agencies. Agency creatives, especially if anybody gets into the creative field, do not know how to receive feedback. You take it very personally. Minhas taught me how to have a very, very rigorous work ethic. Gautam and PG, of course, I've started this business with them. They taught me how to think bigger, have bigger ambitions. Taru taught me that, and this is when I switched over from the agency to the client side, I think just operating with a lot of empathy across the board. Like at the end of the day, you guys are putting your heart and soul into creative work. If it is not appreciated, it's very easy to feel like that's a personal attack on you. Similarly, on the client side, there is an agency that's toiling away to sort of give you the best work that they think is up to par. Be a little kinder. Don't be an asshole. A lot of clients out there are still very, very bad. And this comes from this notion of, because I am paying my agency money, I have the authority to treat them badly. So that's what sort of Taru taught me, which is, listen, there's a group of hardworking people that you need to work with, not against. There is good work that needs to sort of grow from collaboration, not from being very harsh, not from like being very curt with your feedback. So a lot of different people taught me different things along the way. And if that was not the case, I don't think I would have lasted in this industry as long as I have.
Absolutely bang on. So can you guys tell me the most important keywords that is put down right now in his response? Other than that. Collaboration, empathy, feedbacks. Feedbacks in terms of what? Receiving and giving. And? Work ethics. I think he spoke about week 1, 2, 3. Very, very important, right? The first day you go, sir, company choti hai, sir, bathroom acha nahi hai, sir, pura stipend travel mein jayega. Do you think that makes...
We don't have any of these problems. Just
I don't know, I'm just...
all our bathrooms are nice. Ask Anusha.
Okay, so guys, jokes apart, I know that a lot of times, when we are on that side of the table, you feel that there's a lot of pressure, right? And the kind of story or the kind of journey that he's had is explaining us as to it's not easy. You're not going to get anything easy. It's going to be actually a story or like a journey that will happen for you, right? So sometimes clarity does come, but so does overthinking. Have you been in that situation and how have you dealt with it?
I think the word that we're looking for is like imposter syndrome. That I think you feel like we won 18 awards last week, but I still woke up on Monday, had a bad client call, and I'm like, fuck, I'm a fraud. This sab bakwas hai, right? I think the way to sort of, especially in our field where there are so many things that are subjective, creativity is subjective, right? Whether a campaign has done well or not is subjective. You might feel like it's done well, your head of marketing doesn't think it's done well, your product head thinks it's done really well. So in an industry where everything is so subjective, I think getting your fundamentals right is very important. right? So as long as you understand a few key things about the nature of your work, just accept that there's going to be hit and miss, and that's part and parcel of everything. What there is no substitute for is experience. So like I said, the more rooms you're in, the more conversations you're in, the more you'll kind of understand what from your toolkit needs to be brought out and applied. Sometimes you need to push the client despite them not approving. Sometimes you need to back off and say, listen, okay, fine, we missed the brief. This is not the kind of person that I need to sort of push with. Another variable that people don't take into consideration is you will have all of your framework. You would have memorized Ogilvy on advertising. You would have read 10 different books. You're also playing the person and the team that's in the room along with you, right? A lot of this business comes down to relationships that you have with your clients. You can have 10 duds, but if you have a phenomenal relationship with the client, that still holds steady.
Yeah.
You can be excellent at your work, but if you're not a pleasure to work with, I'll fire you the next day. Not me, but like the client will fire you the next day. That's another variable that you need to take into consideration. So both your interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, and your technical skills. When I'm talking about technical skills, I'm talking about when you make a reel. This reel has performed well. Can you tell me why? Oh, maza aaya, mast hook tha, funny tha. If you tell me this, I'll throw a shoe at your head. This is not the answer that I'm looking for. Answers that I'm looking for is we had quick hooks, or the hook that was about dating or exes was really important. Our frame was changing every 3 seconds so people stayed engaged from start to finish. That's what I'm talking about. That's technical skill. Not maza aaya. There was a cute girl in the reel so people watched till the end. You're all laughing because this stuff is true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, very interestingly, he's actually brought up this topic about what is it that we see in the reel. Like, every 3 seconds is is something new coming on my screen. What I actually want to show you guys is a picture on the screen right now. Okay, do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yes.
All right. So, Viren, I want to get to know from you as to what was your reaction when you first saw this.
I was like, holy
social-
shit, did we have like some guy riding a horse? Because this is like, this was not planted by us. I would just like to put it out there. I think we had like a PR disaster on our hands because one, like PETA actually sent us a notice and a lot of animal rights organizations sent us a notice. And we're like, who is this guy? Where did he get this bag from? Why is he taking the horse out in the rains? All these things. So that's what went to my mind initially.
Okay.
This is actually in Mahim. I don't know if for anyone who lives in Shivaji Park, Dadar, you would recognize this. It's right next to where they burn bodies.
So, how did you and your team actually come up with this entire idea where this horseman campaign just happened for you guys?
I think excellent question, because I think at the heart of what we do at TNT is not to try and get the internet to do things that it's not already doing. So the internet was kind of already trying to figure out who this guy was, what the name of the horse was and all that stuff. Luckily, I'm from Mahim, so I instantly recognized this sort of spot. And I went there and I spoke to these people. The horse's name is Tufan.
Okay.
The guy riding the horse, his name is Pesa. This is not a lie. The guy's name is Pesa because he'll do anything for Pesa is the explanation that I got. This guy did not have a phone, so he didn't even know how famous he was. We had this interesting idea where we were like, okay, listen, everybody's talking about our horsemen on different pockets of the internet. Why don't we get them to talk about the horsemen on our page? So we're like, listen, let's own this manhunt.
Okay.
Right? So we're like, we wrote an entire PR letter and we posted it on social as is. And then we had, I don't know, like thousands and thousands of people just DMing us saying, hey, this is where it is. I know this location. Behind this lane, you should go there, and that's why they take care of the horses and all that stuff. And we just rolled with it, man. It wasn't pre-planned as such. This entire thing unraveled over like 3 days. Yeah.
Okay.
We in fact gifted him a phone at the end of it because he didn't have a phone. Like this guy did not have a phone. So we're like, listen, please, here's a phone. He lost it 3 days later. That's another story. And then they're calling me up and they're like, listen, can you buy us another one? I was like,
Interesting. So let's have a look at the video of this campaign. Can you please put in the video?
It was just another rainy July day in Mumbai until a random video of a young man with a Swiggy delivery bag on a white horse stirred up a storm online.
Viral video of Swiggy delivery boy riding on a horse. Netizens went crazy posting memes.
A Swiggy guy delivered the parcel in the most genius way possible on a horse.
Within 12 hours of the video going live, our VP of marketing asked us to stop fooling around and had this to say. Hey guys, we have to do something on this horseman guy, yeah? We just have to. The main social media event of the year was here, and we knew absolutely nothing about it. Who was the horseman? Was the horse a Tufan or a Bijli? What was in the bag? Why was he out on a rainy day? Where did he bloody park his horse? 5,000 Swiggy money for the person who gave us clues. We know what you're thinking. Did we actually put a bounty on the internet to get info? Did we actually get any clues? Did we, within 24 hours, create an in-app innovation that shows you a horseman delivering your Swiggy order?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Did we also do our own sleuthing? Did we actually find the horse and the man? Yes, we did. And here's what we found, straight from the horse's mouth. Our campaign was clearly the center of attention, not just in India, but across Asia.
Nice.
Over 250 million in earned reach across social. Over 6,900% boost in positive sentiment. Over 3 days of ruling the internet. All this for a whopping marketing budget of...
क्या बात है सर? क्या बात है सर? क्या बात है? ये बात है.
Obviously, we couldn't put the word paisa in a PR article, so we thought Shiva was like a cool name. So like,
All right. So this is the content piece that we just saw is something which is very, very viral. It was reactive. It was trending on the internet. Now, very quickly, just let's talk about more intentional content. And there's this particular content piece that we will show you guys on the TV next, which is called Gadagiri. Okay. And what is interesting is that recently they've won 3 awards for this particular campaign. So let's hear from him as to how is it that it was planned, what was the intention behind it, and then let's look at the video and understand what is it that went in getting this up and running.
बस करना था यार internet पे. No, I'll tell you where this idea came from. I think all great ideas need to sort of come from an insight. The word insight for most of you will be the boon and bane of your existence, because every idea or every campaign that you start with, you're going to hear what's the insight, what's the insight. To break it down very simply, an insight is a truth that still has not been discovered yet. For example, boys suck at talking to girls. Is it an insight or is it like a universal truth?
Universal truth.
So I'm not blowing your mind. The guys are not defending themselves at all. So I'm not blowing your mind by telling you this, right? But if I tell you something like, you can trace all of life's problems back to a lack of quality sleep, then you're like kind of thinking about it a little bit, right? Some of you may agree, some of you may not agree, but it gets you to sort of think about it. So that was the premise, or that was the insight behind this idea, which is, listen, all of these lafadas that happen on the internet, you're blaming Poonam Pandey for faking her death. Who's the guy who said 70-hour work week?
Narayan Murthy.
I keep saying Narayan Karthikeyan. Narayan Murthy, then the L&T guy, Kunal Kamra and all that. And the internet is just like blaming these people, saying, get out of the country and all that stuff. And we're like, listen, it's not their fault. They just haven't slept. Right? Which is, and you'll hear this line in our CTA, which is at the end of every ad. So we had this really nice articulation where if you're really nice to someone, it's called Gandhigiri. Gaddagiri is when you sort of give them a free mattress and say, bhai, thoda so ja. Kalesh band kar. Yeah.
Cool. Shazia, play that for us.
What is this behavior?
मैं आ जाऊं क्या अपनी पर?
But it is very unfortunate. आप खुद ही सोचिए डाकू महाराज की 105 करोड़ की सक्सेस के बाद Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud, women want the thing.
You're hired.
Thank you, sir.
Compensation will be 20 lakhs.
Lovely, sir.
You pay us.
Never tolerate, that's okay. And you may look the other way, but we can try to understand.
Poonam Pandey's mega comeback. Bikini shoot on a glacier.
What about Swayamvar?
Claim that you wrote Brown Rug.
Can we fake your death?
Our youngsters must say, this is my country. I want to work 70 hours a week.
70 hours is nothing. My personal best, 127 hours.
But it is very unfortunate. आप खुद ही सोचिए डाकू महाराज की 105 करोड़ की सक्सेस के बाद
मैंने देखा कि वो ठीक हो गए हैं. अब आप ही सोचिए मेरी फिल्म ने 105 करोड़ बॉक्स ऑफिस पे कलेक्शन किया है.
I work on Sundays also. What do you do sitting at home? How long can you stare at your wife? How long can the wife stare at your husband?
Sunday morning, love you. I wanna love you every day.
Then who will love me on Sunday morning, huh?
It's okay. I'll let you see another.
लफड़ा तब होता जब तो बराबर नहीं सोता. इसको वाइट फिट का गद्दा दिलाओ, अच्छे से सिलाओ.
Wow, that's awesome. Kudos to the entire DND.
Shout out to Poonam Pandey for actually starring in that reel. I think a lot of guts on her part. And in fact, when we told her the concept, she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Interesting. So, looking back at the journey that you've had, Viren, which campaign do you see was a creative turning point for you, wherein, like, you know, it made you rethink what's possible, and what made you say that I want to do, like, you know, my own thing?
I think there are two campaigns. Can I take two?
Sure.
Sure. I think the first campaign was this campaign called Hagglebot. So this happened when I was at Web Chutney. I was a senior copywriter. Flipkart was our client, and we had this wonderful idea, again stemming from the insight that Indians just love to bargain. Doesn't matter whether they're bargaining over the phone or in real life. So we're like, listen, what if we could actually get you to bargain with Flipkart during the Big Billion Days sale, which is their big sale? What if we could actually get you to bargain with Flipkart to unlock the lowest price instead of just giving it to you for free? So instead of just saying, hey, listen, here's 80% off on the iPhone, you have to work towards getting this thing. And depending how good or bad you are at bargaining, you'll unlock the discount.
Okay.
This took like 3 months of like rigorous writing, Excel sheets, trying to sort of map this bot. I mean, for anyone who's used ChatGPT, we were actually trying to build something similar on Google Assistant. Very difficult. You can do this in 15 minutes right now.
Yeah.
Right? Took 3 months to do it back then. And throughout the entire campaign, I was like, ye to nahi hone wala hai. Because at the back of every idea or execution strategy, you're just like, will this happen? Or it's just like, am I just doing time pass up until the point where everybody cancels this, right? So I was just like, this is way too ambitious for this to ever come true. Okay. But I'll continue because mujhe salary chahiye and, you know, all that stuff.
Kaam hona chahiye.
It happened.
Okay.
I won my first 3 Cannes in one row. We won a Spikes Grand Prix in Asia. I won the Black Elephant at Kyoorius.
Wow.
And I was just like, dreams do come true, right? The second campaign was when I was at Swiggy. I was the head of social at Swiggy. I was working with my co-founders right now at Talented. The name of the campaign was, why is this a Swiggy ad? PG, who's the creative head at Talented and my co-founder, called me up and he said, "Well, I have an idea for you." This happens very often, every second day. I'm like, "Sun leta ho. I have nothing else to do." And then he told me this idea about, do we have the case study? Listen, everybody has their own personal relationship with Swiggy. For some people, it is the only way that they get food in a day. For some people, it is the only way that they order groceries. For some people, it is a way that they say sorry to their girlfriend, because for some people, it's a way to send a birthday cake to your friend who lives in another city. So if I showed you this very interesting visual, the first version of the visual was Virat Kohli in a rubber duck outfit with a UFO on top of him as people were watching in the background.
Okay.
everybody will look at the ad and then have their own answer, right?
Interesting.
When I first heard this idea, I thought this was either the greatest thing I've ever heard or the biggest piece of dog shit. And that's exactly what I told my head of marketing. I was like, listen, Ashish, I've either just heard the best thing that I've ever heard in my life, or it's a stinking pile of shit. I want you to be the judge.
Okay.
And I'm so happy that I went and told it to him like that, because I didn't say the usual things of like, oh, there's this very interesting idea that this agency has. I'm like, listen, ये scene है, तुझे सुनना है तो सुन ले.
करते दे तुम.
3 months later, we've locked like a 3.5 CR budget. We have a film.
Wow.
I've never wielded a 3.5 CR budget in my life, right? Suddenly, I'm like this 26-year-old who's wielding this budget, and I'm like, oh, again, dreams really do come true.
Interesting. I think
That's when I kind of realized this one thing is marketing, guys, is nothing but taking a really big risk, knowing that you don't know what you're doing going in. I think it's fair. Like, nobody is more full of than a brand manager after a successful campaign, because then he'll come and tell you, I planned this and I planned that. Kuch nahi. There's nothing. He didn't plan anything. He's figured it out as it went. And you should be okay with that kind of uncertainty in a lot of your projects. Right? There will be a lot of variables. Nothing is ever going to go according to plan. But just embrace the fact that this is the nature of the job that you guys are getting into. Right?
And be open to actually, work
I think just be
on the go.
Yeah, bring a fair amount of humbleness into every room, because there's no point being an asshole in any room that you're in. It's a constant learning process. Even as the campaign is going in different directions, you need to be level-headed and kind of make decisions that are not driven by emotion and ego. Right? You guys will go on to be heads of marketings one day. This is invaluable advice, trust me. When you are the decision maker and there are 10 things that you need to look at, all hinging on your reputation, and there's like a 1 crore budget at play, this will happen to you. I'm not just sort of saying 10 years from now, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, right? What's the average age?
24.
24. In 3 years, you might be wielding a 3.5 CR budget like I was. You need to have your wits about you. Yeah.
True. And very, very interesting. They've managed to pull the video. Let's have a look at the campaign.
If you can figure out what's happening in this picture, Swiggy will give you ₹1 lakh.
The online food ordering and delivery platform is taking over billboards, newspapers, and the internet with one burning question.
Why is this a Swiggy ad?
Why is this a Swiggy ad? There is no way that's a Swiggy ad.
Here is a graphic designer's theory on why this is a Swiggy ad.
I've seen this campaign and I have no clue what the answer is.
Looks like the ad is filled with Easter eggs and stuff you see regularly on the internet. And they've all got something to do with Swiggy?
Everyone has a different version of the ad in their head. They think this ad is about groceries, about street food, crypto, interplanetary deliveries, time dilation. We even got cannibalism. Everyone answered basis what Swiggy sort of does for them. As a brand, we do so much more than just deliver stuff.
I think the Swiggy marketing team has way too much money and they're trying to make us do the work for them.
We're gonna use the golden spiral. The point exactly lands on the word Rahul.
स्विगी के प्रीवियस गुलाब जामुन एड में जो अंकल थे वो अंकल और ये सेम है.
Swiggy is being secretly funded by Elon.
मैं तो भाई खाना मंगा रहा हूँ स्विगी पे.
2 दिन से श्रीनिजॉय बस लिख रहा है, थ्योरी लिख रहा है पेपर पे.
अगर तुम बात कर रहे हो, अगर तुम एंगेज कर रहे हो तो ये स्विगी ऐड तुम्हारा बन गया.
Sorry.
Wrong.
Interesting, but sorry.
No.
Wow. Very, very interesting, right? So, from the last 3 videos that we've seen, from the awards that we've heard, I can say that Viren is known for taking big leaps.
And I just realized all my campaigns are about giving people money.
And brands also at the same time are making a lot of money.
I mean, I hope so, man. You don't tell us all this.
And in addition to that, guys, very, very interesting thing is that he's built a company which is creator first and not just any other random agency out there, right? So, Viren, why don't you tell us what is it that makes TNT unique? What is the philosophy? What is the practice?
Sure. When I left advertising agencies, I left for two reasons. One, I hated the culture in advertising agencies. I hated the pay. And I also hated my boss at that specific agency. And when I decided to leave, I was like, I am never going to come back to this shithole that is Indian advertising agencies ever again, right? Especially because when I switched jobs, my boss gave me like 100% hike. Yeah, and that was Tinder. I joined, maybe you all know this app. I joined a dating app called Tinder. Do you all know Tinder?
Yeah.
Of course you guys know Tinder. You all know Bumble? Hinge?
Any,
Look at the smiles. Like, yeah, of course. And then I was at Swiggy. And then I think this specific campaign kind of did it for me because I was able to sort of, as on the brand side, run social the way I wanted to run social. I had a wonderful agency called Stonks that worked with me. And a lot of these things that are now principle at TNT, which is don't post 30 times a month, focus on shares, don't focus on followers and stuff. I just told them, listen guys, I'm going to let you do whatever you want with the page. I don't care if you post 30 times, I don't care if you post 10 times, I don't care if you post 2 times. Do whatever you want, but if we don't see a high number of shares week on week, I'll tell you why shares in a second. I'm going to catch you and I'm going to start flogging you a little bit. What that did is 2 things. I think Stonks was primed for success because they were all creators themselves at that agency. They all ran their own pages. The fundamental shift, which is also principle at TNT, is if you're a person who creates for social media yourself, when there's a trend that breaks out, 1, you obviously know what it is. 2, you're thinking about your page first before you're thinking about the brand page. I want you to do that. I want you to think about your page first before the brand page because that's called having skin in the game, right? The second thing is, I think shares, without a doubt, when the Instagram Adam Mosseri says it, everybody listens. When I said it 4 years ago, nobody listened. But if you're able to get shares on your content, views, likes, comments, everything, followers, marriage proposals, everything will come, right? Another core tenet. That's when I was like, listen, I can do this better, right? Okay. I can do what social media agencies are struggling to do better than they're doing it because I managed to do it at Tinder. I managed to do it at Swiggy. I don't think there are any players in the market right now that are doing it right. Yes, there are creators at agencies, but I don't think there are creator collectives that are providing content solutions. So I wanted to create an agency that doesn't just create funny, shareable content. I wanted to create an agency that gives you tangible outcomes in terms of, hey, listen, your KPIs that you're measuring are wrong. This is what you should be looking at.
Fair.
And this is the team that's full of creators to do it for you.
Basically, that also allows you to actually, engage with your audience in the way you want to showcase your brand or want to be perceived.
Guys, social is nothing but a community of people that will either choose to engage with you or ignore you. Tomorrow, if I had to take away every brand from social media, it will become a better place. Yeah. I won't see ads. I won't see bad influencer marketing. I won't see very obvious paid partnerships with my favorite creators. I'll have a field. I'll have a lot of fun on social as an individual. Brands don't, social media does not need brands. Brands desperately need to be part of the conversation on social media. If you are not joining social in the way social interacts within itself, please do not start a brand Instagram or Twitter page. You are wasting your money. All of you know that in 2025, running a social media page is a Herculean task to go from 0 followers to 10K followers, which is why at TNT, I categorically stay away from briefs that say I want follower growth on my account. Or I try to tell them, look, your wrong number, right? Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Now, I just have one question here, okay? How do you actually get clients to buy into quality over quantity?
I kidnap their dogs. I think that's the $1 million question because if you're able to answer this, $1 million briefs and budgets open up to you. I'll go back to what I said in terms of like you're also playing the person across from you. There are heads of marketings of companies like a Zepto, Swiggy, Mayur Hola, shout out to Mayur Hola, Zomato that are more open to new. They will hire young people. They'll hire people directly from the creator ecosystem. So they speak the same vocabulary that you guys possibly do, right? When you go out into the market. there are still brands that function in a more traditionalist mindset. And these are the more Unilever's, P&G's, where, right after the MBA, they're picked up, no real experience. I always say that you should work at an agency and a brand and then decide which one's better for you. But that kind of thinking takes a lot more to sort of chip away at, because they want to hear frameworks, they want to hear KPIs, they want to hear ROIs, and you have all the answers, which is why I say really understand the technicalities of your skill and the vocabulary of what needs to be said in these rooms. It takes a little getting used to. It's a learning process for me also. Tomorrow if I'm with a client, I don't know what to sort of tap into because I need to hear them speak first, right? I need to know whether they went to ISB or IIT. This really does help, guys. I need to know what their last job was. Okay, he's at Unilever now, but was he at Swiggy? Okay, great. This is a guy who is a little more social savvy. I can have these kinds of conversations with him.
Fair.
Right?
You can vibe with the kind of person.
More than vibes, I think you need to come across as somebody who knows what they're saying and not sound impressive to yourself.
Fair. Absolutely.
A lot of creative directors want to get into a room and sound impressive to themselves. And
there are always ideas.
Yeah, and this happened so much at Tinder, right? At Tinder, we called for like a multi-agency pitch, right? Who doesn't want the account Tinder? But a lot of these CDs came in and they were just like, I don't know, like they loved hearing the sound of their own voice. They didn't address the brief. And I was just like, kya ho raha hai yaar? Matlab, time waste ho raha hai.
Interesting. So with all this experience when you built TNT, I think there's a lot of strong foundation and values that you've put in there, right? Can you tell me what are the core principles that you had in mind when you were creating the company, and what is it like when it comes to culture for your employees?
Yeah. मतलब experience तो 2 साल ही हो गया.
हाँ मतलब 2 साल में भी बनाया तो है ना? It's there.
What I appreciate that. What I think, so the best place to start is I think I just wanted to figure out an agency that was a joy to work at for the people that we got on board. The first thing that I wanted to fix was pay. When I first started out, I was getting, I don't know what my fucking salary was, like 1.5 lakh per annum or some shit like that. You get like 17,000 bucks per month, and I'm like, wow, look at this money, like amazing. But it took me a very long time to get to a salary that I was very happy with. That only happened, shout out to Taru again, when I was at Tinder, where again I was making like pittance. I was making like 30-40K per month, and I very humbly said, Taru, can I get 60 in hand? And she's like, how about 1 in hand every month? I'm like, wow. That's when I realized that she could have easily said yes at 60.
Yeah.
And said, let me get this guy for cheap. But she's like, no, I want my employees to feel like they're paid well. I want them to feel valued. I want them to feel good about coming to work every day and getting paid. Which is why at TNT, we negotiate very less. You tell us what that number is. We'll either tell you yes or we'll tell you no. That's it. I'm not going to lowball you. In fact, there was a case where somebody came at 3 lakhs and said, I want 4. And we're like, dude, take 7. What is wrong with you? This person had no experience whatsoever. So we have a base bracket at the grid that starts at around 7 or 8 for freshers, right? And I think especially if you're living in a city like Bombay.
How many of you want to apply? Okay.
Where was I?
The salary.
I'm saying especially if you live in a place like Bombay and you want to have a social life and you want to be in a relationship and you want to invest money and you want to possibly take, you need money, right? So that was the first place to start. The second thing I think was the experience that people have. Like when I was at an agency, I was stuck on one brand for the entire year. And I'm like, that sucks. Like to put somebody on one brand and say, this is your life for the next year and a half, 2 years, that's crazy. Yeah. Right? Imagine eating like the dal chawal, Binny, and Bunny, you can't have dal chawal every day for the
60 years till you die.
Right. So I was like, okay, the way that I want to structure it is 2 retainer brands and campaigns active at any point of time. I think that's enough diversity to make you feel great. And just in terms of the choice of brands, right? We have LinkedIn, we have Tinder, we work with Netflix, we work with Prime Video.
Wow.
Wakefit, Flipkart Minutes. We've worked with Nothing, the phone brand. We've worked with Myntra. So I think just the choice of brands also becomes entertaining at the same point in time. The last thing I think is something that the entire grid takes extremely seriously, which is mental wellness. You all are human beings at the end of the day. So we have a few things in place like an unlimited sick leave policy. We have this thing, we have a partnership with a mental wellness partner called Kaha Mind, shout out to Kaha Mind, where all of your therapy is paid for by the company. You can take therapy every single day of the week, take it once a month, but it's covered. It's covered by TNT. We wanted people to have medical insurance and health insurance that covers them.
Wow.
We also, for the first time ever, I don't know too many agencies who've done this, I have actually given our first set of ESOPs to our employees. So people actually own a stake in my company. It's very difficult for me to give away equity, but I'm like, listen, if I want people to feel like this place is their own, I need to treat them like adults and make them feel like this business is being built with me. Wow. And you're not just my employee that's go get me coffee, write this copy, work on the weekend. We have a comp off policy. The one thing that I'm most proud of is this policy that's only at TNT. It's called Bangers Only.
Okay.
Every Friday, every creator just comes and presents the work that they've created for their brands on a Friday. We put it to a vote, and whoever wins gets $5,000 cash week on week.
Wow.
So if your salary is X, if you win Bangers, so there's a guy in the system who's bumped up his CTC by like 30K by winning 30 or 20K, one of the two. Well, that's a good amount, if you ask me.
I mean, anyone in this room.
I just realized again, all of the things that I do are about giving away money.
So, I just add to this is that I like the thought process that अगर company कमा रही है तो हम सब साथ में कमा रहे हैं और हम साथ में grow हो रहे हैं. So I think that's a very cool thought process to have. And you're just mentioning about how you hire, right? So what I've figured is that the hiring process is very, very different. Can you tell me how have you imagined the entire process being very, very different than a normal traditional, like, someone picked from right after their MBA? Like, how is it that you thought through this entire thing?
So firstly, if I see an MBA, I'll be very skeptical just to begin with.
Okay.
And it's not like there's a bias against it, or because I didn't get into ISB or IIT or MICA or any other MBA institute. But I think it comes largely from everybody's really great at writing CVs, especially now, especially with ChatGPT as your best friend. Everybody thinks that they've sent this LinkedIn DM to me that's like the fucking best. Like, you've never received a DM like this. I'm ready to change your business. Look at my intent. Everything sounds the same. I don't mean to be an asshole. I'm just telling you guys what it is. For the first 3 months, I really appreciated all of the incoming. But then at a certain point, I was like, okay, there is a template that's being circulated.
Coming.
And everybody's following it. 2 things. One, at TNT, you need to have a very specific set of skills, right? Which is creation.
Sure.
Your CV will not tell me that. Yeah. I don't care where you went to school. I don't care where. If you are saying that you are a creator, I'm going to go and look at an Instagram page immediately, right? To see whether you're able to do the job before you come on board. Then, of course, I'll do an interview. And the interview will tell me 2 things. Are you a talker who can back it up by doing things? Are you a talker who hides behind frameworks and strategy and just high-handed intellectualism? Or are you somebody who's not really good at talking, but you're really good with your work? You'll find a different combination of all of these things. A lot of the times, I've been fooled by the enthusiasm a candidate has brought into the room. I've paid the price 4 months later. My brands have paid the price. My business has paid the price 4 months later. After the interview, we make sure to give you a test, and we pay you for the test. We pay you for the test. And the test is very, very specific in terms of how you answer that test is how your day looks like at TNT. And that's it, man. I think that's just what it is.
Very, very interesting. I really like his idea of figuring out whether the person is someone who can be the back-end guy or can be the front-end guy, and how is it that person is actually backing up bases the skill set or the conversation that comes to the table, right?
And I look at good writing. Like, if you can write well, I know you can think clearly. Maybe not speak clearly, but if you can write well, I know you're thinking clearly. Speaking can be developed. Speaking can be worked upon. But I think clarity of thought is so important. You will be surprised how many copywriters out there struggle to string sentences together that make sense, right? I'm not joking. Like, you will be surprised. So good writing is also something that I really hold in high regard. Yeah.
Interesting. So while like, you know, you thrive on content and like, you know, that's the culture or like, you know, that's tuned into you, how do you decide which moments or internet trends are worth building on?
I think I'll just rephrase that and redirect. The internet will never ever run out of moments. We all agree, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I think the amount of moments on the internet have become exhaustive. You don't know what to pay attention to and what is important. So I don't think it's a question of picking the right moment so much as knowing that, listen, there are moments that are always going to exist. I can choose to take the moment today. I can choose to ignore it. I know there's going to be something tomorrow.
Fair.
I think it depends on just, and the best ideas always come from you not putting so much pressure on cracking that one moment.
True.
When you take the pressure off of yourself to crack the best idea, you'll actually come up with a very good idea.
Yep.
Right? One of the things that we follow at TNT is when it comes to ideas, quantity, not quality. I'll tell you where the thinking comes from. If I tell you to give me one really good idea, you specifically, you don't have to answer. This is not like she will probably really think hard, spend a week, and then she will kind of be like, okay, this may be a great idea, but it also might not be a great idea. I don't know. It depends on the feedback. But if I tell you to come up with 100 bad ideas, by bad idea number 40, you'll run out of bad ideas. You'll start coming up with legitimately good ideas. You'll get done with your first thought ideas. You'll get done with your generic ideas. You'll get done with your ideas that don't make sense and are not credible. Then you'll start getting the magic sauce.
Fair.
So I don't care if you come up with a great idea for a moment. What I care about is, listen, throw everything at the wall, knowing that there's another moment that's going to come. Something will stick.
Something
will stick.
Awesome. So there's one cool Amazon video that I'd like to showcase.
अन्ना बहुत दिन हो गए पिक्चर देखे हुए
चल आज मेरी वाली देखते हैं
कौन सी वाली अन्ना
अरे वो वाली यार जिसमें मैं वो था ना डॉन था ना फलाना वलाना ढिमकाना क्या वो
फलाना ढिमकाना अन्ना
आवारा पागल दीवाना
मुंह में गरम वो डालना पड़ेगा अपना वो क्या है उसको कैसे पता
सुनील बेटा ये Amazon प्राइम वीडियो का वो वाला फीचर है आपके ये वो ऐसे वैसे सारे डिस्क्रिप्शंस को यूं गेस कर लेता यूं
क्या बोलती माँ चलो ना अन्ना वो देखते हैं अपन मूवी
जिसमें वो एडी के जैसा घूमता देखना रोड बीट पे वो अपना भाई एक है कौन तो भी वो भूल जाता हूँ उसको कुछ तो नहीं क्या वांग बिंग पे लिखता नहीं क्या कल्पना देख मेरे हड्डे
गजनी
वहाँ कसम टीवी भैया वो क्या वो जिले के नाम से शुरू होता है वो जिसमें बड़ी मार धार सब मंदिर घंटे की तरह बजाते रहते हैं अरे वो जिला घोषित करो ना
कोल्हापुर
मिर्जापुर
नहीं
अब गुरुकुल के 3 उसूल
परंपरा प्रतिष्ठा अनुशासन
अरे वाह
काजू कतरी
छोटा छतरी
बघितले तू
अभी मैं इसकी ये वाली फीचर का वो वाला टेस्ट लेता हूँ
हिंदी 2 words सलाम नमस्ते मेरी बारी है रॉकी रानी की प्रेम कहानी अरे पर हमने तो डिसाइड ही नहीं किया कि अभी तक देखना क्या है
अरे चलो ना अपन कौन सी तो भी वैसी मूवी देखते नहीं क्या जिसमें सिर्फ अमीर लोग भरे ले डायरेक्टर के बच्चे नहीं क्या प्रोड्यूसर के बच्चे जिसके अंदर उनको देख के नहीं क्या ऐसा लगना मांगता अपन भी एक्टिंग कर सकते समझ रहे ना
एरो The वो वाला feature, so you never miss a show or movie releasing for 1st April only on Amazon Prime.
अरे सुनो लीगल टीम ने बोला है डिस्क्लेमर लगना बहुत जरूरी है वरना वो उधर भेज देंगे क्या बोलते हैं वो
पाताल लोक
Wow. So clearly all of us relate to these movies. Yeah. So now for such movies when imagine you have to come up with idea or you have to come up with a campaign. Can you tell us that what is your process of creating content that actually feels hyper relatable and is still fresh?
Sure. Like I said, I think every idea is a good starting point, which is an insight. The insight was basically you've all done this, right? Hey, what's that movie that goes like dhum thum tanana, dhum thum thum, or like a movie now where that guy does the thing with the and then there's a dog and all that. You've done all that, right? And we're like, okay, listen, that's a great insight because that's what people actually do. So what we realize is, okay, I have an insight. The next thing that we do is try and sort of verify whether I'm following the concept note format. Whether we verify the insight is true or not. So what we'll do is we will go out onto the internet. Guys, the answer to all of life's questions either exists on Twitter or a thread or a Reddit thread. Such bol raha, I'm not even joking. You go out on the internet and see whether your insight is actually there in some way, shape or form. What I mean by that is there might be a meme that's cracked the same joke that your insight is trying to crack. Or there's already a YouTube video, or there's already a trailer, or there's already like a tweet that talks about what I'm talking about. There's your insight, and there are different creative executions that we look for that already exist. If they exist, one, I know that the insight is known and relatable. If those formats or posts have good engagement, I know that there's a high chance that if I do something with this, it'll get good engagement. So it's not like spray and pray as opposed to like just being informed of what I'm doing at every step of the way. So even when we take it to the client, we're like, listen, here's the insight. Client bolega, so what? Who knows this insight? Then we say, okay, here, this is how the internet is already talking about this insight. I say, so what? I don't care. How do you know this is going to get engagement? Look at all these posts. They've got millions of shares. They've got millions of views. Then they're like, okay, please take 10 lakhs and do this campaign.
Can someone tell me the answer that you just gave? What is it narrowing down to before meeting client? No.
Yeah, so our philosophy or our way of doing things is the 3 S's. There's this wonderful book called Idea Flow that you guys should read. It breaks down the ideation process and it starts with the first S, which is called seed. Seed is basically research. If you are not an expert on the subject matter that you're about to ideate on, how are you going to do it? If I give you a brief on skincare and it starts and ends with you putting petroleum jelly on your lips, you're not the right creative resource for this brief. Whereas you take the first 3-4 days just to research what's happening in the category, who are the creators, what are the influencers, what are the kinds of campaigns that have already been done, then you're the right person. The next S is after seed is sleep. Just take a break. Step away from the problem, go do something else. I don't care what it is that you do. And the last S is solve. When you come back after having stepped away, you will be able to solve it, right? So you're absolutely right. I think we don't start meetings or we cancel meetings or we throw people out of meetings, I'm assuming, if research has not been done beforehand, right? It is your best friend, trust me.
I think that is something that's going to actually, in a room full of people, decide what is it that you're talking and are you talking sense or are you full of shit, right? Yeah. You guys all agree? Interesting.
It's your vocabulary. Like if you're going in to talk to an automotive company, you need to know the category as good, if not better, than the guy that you're speaking to, who's probably been in the category for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? As a budding copywriter, I made the cardinal rule of thinking I'm cooler than the people in the room that I'm entering, like that I'm with, which is true. I may be cooler socially, but when it comes to talking to them about content and ideas, they just know so much about their content. They know so much about their category. They know so much about how this entire thing operates. And at the end of the day, a client wants to hear that you care as much about this as they do.
Yep.
Not that you're the best creative director in the world, not that your agency has thousands of people. Any client just wants to feel like you care about this brief as much as they care about it. And if you've not researched and come in, can you really say that you care?
Basically, validation to them is very important because then they are like, okay, I'm giving my one piece, or rather, I'm giving my brand in your hands, and it's going to be deciding whether or not it's going to work for them.
And it's also being disrespectful to yourself to not do research.
Not do research.
This is your career. You can either choose to go about it the right way or not. Right? Yeah. So if I do research, I know that I'm taking one step further for myself.
Absolutely.
Right? I want people to look at me as somebody who's researched and come to a room. It's your reputation at stake.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Viren, this question is something that I want to know from you, that if today, when you've launched TNT, right, and you've been running it for the last 2 years, if I ask you, what is it that you could have done differently?
I think I've made a few mistakes on the hiring front.
Okay.
And that's a learning process for me that a few people had to bear the brunt of, unfortunately. But when I first started, I was like, who the hell is going to want to join this agency? Right? But I think if I just held a higher bar, right? And I think I was very lucky because despite me thinking, who's going to join this agency, I should say yes to everybody who says that they want to join. I got very lucky with my first few hires because they're phenomenal, right? They're the ones behind Gaddagiri, Premi.
They're basically the crux of the agency.
Yeah, and what we did is big bets on young, talented people and hoping that they sort of grow into the role that they're obviously not ready for yet, but they will grow into it at some point in time. So I just wanted to have that wisdom beforehand. It would have saved me a few mistakes that did cost me a little bit of business.
Interesting, but I think that is a journey, and I think you would have actually had a lot of insights and clarity as to how is it that you want to shape up your company, like, for coming years.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. So before we end, okay, there is this next question, and this is more for you guys to have a reality check. And the question, he's answered it somewhere through the entire session, but I want to explicitly ask him that a lot of students here are experimenting with AI in their creative work. Where is your, what is your opinion on it? And what do you think, where is it taking over?
My opinion is this, that little danda that AI adds in all your text, wo hata do.
Please hata do.
The M dash, in the middle of some words, you'll see one danda. Dude, the minute I see that, I'm just like, as AI generated something and come. So I think my advice on using AI is definitely get ChatGPT Plus because it's way better. It's way better than the 3.0 model. And I think you need to use AI slightly more intentionally. It's very easy for it to become a crux. So there are two things actually. Let me break it up. All of your menial work where you don't want to apply your brain, like replying to emails and stuff like that, just outsource that to AI immediately. How do I reply to this email? Or outsource that shit, right? The second thing is when it comes to your actual copywriting skills or your strategy skills or your budgeting skills, AI is trained to answer you in the affirmative.
Yeah.
So if you go to it and give it a bad strategy, it will confirm your bad strategy but dress it up in really nice English and frameworks, right? The way that I use it, and which is why I tell you to get ChatGPT Plus, is very simple. I use this thing called deep research. So the first thing I do, and you can ask your AI model this as well, hey, should I start talking to you about this topic directly or do you need me to do deep research? It will categorically say, please make me do deep research first before you ask me your queries. Yeah. So I'll do it. I did this just yesterday. In fact, I wanted to come up with different strategic frameworks that I could use in my pitch decks. And I'm like, listen, I need you to do an entire 360 study on how agencies, traditional agencies approach strategy, new age agencies approach strategy, and how indie agencies approach brand strategy. Yes. It took 25 minutes to do that. Then when I started throwing my ideas at it, it started building out excellent strategic frameworks for it, right? I think AI is only as good as what you bring to it up here. If you try and use it like a moron, you're going to sound like a very eloquent moron. If you use it like somebody who knows what the North Star is, you just need a little help getting there, you are an AI-powered individual, right? And just this whole thing of like AI is going to take our jobs. AI does not want to take your jobs. Yeah. People who use AI want to take your jobs. I'd rather that you be the person who uses AI that takes your own job, right? We have a word for that. It's called upskilling.
Yep.
Right?
So if I have to just narrow down everything that is just told about AI or how to use AI better, there's this one word I think all of you would have learned in the class, and I think I am the one who would have taught you about using AI. What is that one word? नहीं हाँ तो pet क्या है? Persona. But क्यों है वो? He's just told it to you guys.
I said it, what?
No, how is he ensuring that he keeps on constantly getting crazy ideas?
Sure, I didn't mean to put you guys on the spot.
Prompt, right? Give a right prompt, keep asking why or keep asking or paraphrasing your question, and you will end up having a right or a close to right answer. Yeah?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I think like you will, like I said, the quality of writing, right? Yeah. Like I think if you're able to sort of put your point across in a clear manner, AI will come back to you with better solutions.
Yep.
But again, if you can get Plus and use deep research, I highly recommend it, man. It's like a daily ritual for me. It saves you a lot of Google searches. Even in terms of your research phase,
Yeah.
it really does sort out a lot for you. Yeah.
Questions, if you guys have for it. Show of hands, yeah.
What are the channels that are actually coming in the market, and it's not a channel perspective, not AI.
Firstly, don't mess with that guy. You're 21. Yeah. I think it's a great question to start evaluating what channels actually work or not. Even the new age channels that exist, like Telegram, Reddit, Twitter Spaces, if that's still a thing. TikTok is also a channel that does not exist here, but there is an Instagram page called Telugu TikTok. I don't know how it exists, right? The way that I would approach it is, you're free to try out all of these channels, but I'll go back to what I said. Every single social media channel, every single ATL channel, BTL channel has a specific set of formats that work on it. If your brand is entering that space, I'll go back to what one of my favorite marketing minds, Seth Godin, says. It's not about what your brand wants to say, it's about what people are saying about your brand. I'll just slightly amend that. It's not about what your brand wants to say on the channel, it's how the channel is already talking amongst itself. Right? So if you're able to sort of crack a communication piece that is in line or in step with how a channel is being optimized, you're well within your rights to do a little small communication experiment on that channel. Whether that works or not depends on how strong your insight was, how clear your communication was, the quality of your creative and design, and then all of those other subjective factors come into play. So don't go looking for the right channel. I would say evaluate all channels. Because see, why is this Swiggy ad was a billboard idea that we activated via social media campaign. Right? We did one billboard. But that's from the understanding that social is not what starts on social, it's what ends up on social. So I don't need 25 billboards. I need one billboard because wo social pe aane wala hi hai. So I use social media as my main channel and I just used a screenshot or a picture of one billboard that we got. But would you say that I had an outdoor strategy? I did not. Right? So don't try to like pigeonhole yourself into, okay, this is my go-to channel all the time. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah. No stress.
I hope that answers your question. Next, who wants to ask a question?
Anything? Hey.
Hi, I'm Lavanya. So my question is, we are marketers, digital marketers, and we have been told and maybe preached to pick up a niche. Either you can be a creator or you can be into an agency or into a brand as a creator. So just your agency has literally taken down that stereotype of a creator can also be a marketer. So how do you look for creators when you say that the creators are working in your agency? Like how is the whole pattern and how they are not their own work being affected when they're working into an agency?
So are you asking me two things? One, are you asking me whether that's the right advice or not? And number two, are you then asking me how I evaluate whether creators should be part of TNT or not? So if you can operate within a niche in 2025, you are golden. Do not try to be a generalist is my honest advice. If you can operate within a niche, whether that's beauty or something like that, you will get big boolah, big money, right? Like if you are an expert in a specific field, that is what I am looking for. That is what brands are looking for. In-house teams at brands are looking for specialists who understand a specific kind of content category. So yes, I think that's, in the middle it was not true, but now it's true again. So they are lucky that they've been preaching it for a very long time. In terms of your second thing, yeah. So I hire with absolute intent. I know the brands that I'm hiring for. I will test specifically for that kind of thinking. So in your test, you will not get generic brands. You will get brands that are copycats of the brands that you'll be working on, right? So I will test you exactly for what you will come on board and do on a daily basis. So, which is kind of like, it makes sense, right? Like, to Tinder pe kaam karne wala, I'll give you a dating app to create content for.
So in short, a creator can be a part of an agency is the bottom line.
That's, I would say 50-50 because there are creators that are only good at creating their own kind of content. There are creators that suffer when it's a brand mandate. But then there at the same time, there are creators who kind of figure it out. Hiring is always a huge risk. But I think if you're able to sort of understand how the person functions, will they be able to take the pressure or will they crumble? Is there a learning curve to be had out here or not? If you have answers to those questions, like there are some phenomenal creators that I've interviewed that they just can't create branded content. And I'll be doing them a disservice by hiring them.
Just one last thing. What would your one piece of advice be for someone who's a budding creator and wants to join an agency or work with?
To join an agency? One, I think don't stop doing the thing that got you hired in the first place, which is creation. Number two, I think accept that as a creator, you will not have the vocabulary of an agency professional. Insights, ideas, execution, ROI, what's the TOV, all of that stuff. This will be new to people who are not in this classroom. So just understand that there's a learning curve that you will have to bridge very fast. Yeah, so two things.
Can you please pass mic to Aliona?
Well, hi, my name is Aliona. My question is more on a personal side. Sure. So when you then moved from agencies, working for different brands, or with agencies for that matter, and then when you moved on to founding your own agency, what was the shift, if there was one at all, in sort of your perspective? Because as a founder, as someone that's leading an agency or a brand or a company or whatever it is, thinking changes. I mean, it has to, I feel. Of course, you use all your insights.
I never thought that I would ever start my own company. In fact, I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur myself, right? In fact, I was pretty confident that I'm not that kind of person at all, right? I was a senior marketing manager at Swiggy, had a phenomenal year with the Horseman campaign, with the Vitasa campaign. Swiggy Social has been taken from obscurity to now one of the best social media pages. You all can continue to take credit for all of my good work. Okay. I was up for promotion to general manager. I was making really good money also, right? Then Gautam and PG got me drunk at a bar at least 6 times and filled my head with all this nonsense about you can have a different agency experience. There's so much fundamentally wrong with the industry. And I think I was just so inwardly focused on, I just want to sort my life out and I want to fight my own battles and I want to make sure that I'm the best marketer in the world, which is an absolutely viable and valid way to think. I'm not saying that just because I didn't continue doing that, it's the wrong thing to do. Please do it, right? If that's your cup of tea, to jo paise banana, make money if you want a nice, comfortable job. But just the kind of person that I am, I'd bite my fingers off if you put me on the brand side again, because as a creative person, as somebody who is just naturally driven to do things on a daily basis, there wasn't that much to do. I was giving out briefs to agencies. I was filing invoices and estimates. I was preparing decks for my seniors. This is what a brand side role looks like, guys.
Yeah.
And no amount of money will fill the existential void that you might feel if you're a different kind of person, right? If you're a more creative person, which is why I chose to take a 100% pay cut, come start from scratch, build from scratch. But it's basically how I identified I can do what's being done better. There is a gap here that I know how to fill. And initially, Gautam and PG wanted me to do this in a consultant role. But at the end of the day, we had to make this an agency. We had to make it separate from Talented because it needs to be its own entity, right? That's fixing things one by one. And to me, I think a challenge of fixing how broken this industry is when it comes to pay, when it comes to wellness, when it comes to your experience with your bosses, when it comes to the work on the table, that to me was an exciting experience. And that's what gets me going, right? Money and all that will come. I guarantee you get any job, stay there for 4 years, you'll get money. You will be fine, in case you're wondering. Some of you might not be, but then most of you.
I like the bang on right answer. Okay, anyone else? Any other question?
Hi sir, I'm Chinmay and thank you so much for today's session. And I was like, since we've been looking at your campaigns and also some previous campaigns, I've observed one thing that brands do some offline thing to spark conversations online. So like recent Tinder campaign about the X truck that they have done, and also your campaign. Sorry? Oh, sorry. Nice. So I love that campaign, and that made me think that brands are doing majorly some offline stuff to create spark conversations online, and that's what you also said in the session, that sparking conversations on social media is a good thing for a brand. So what's your take on this, sparking conversation?
My take is this. There is a reason why Faye D'Souza started an Instagram page, right? There is a reason why brands do what you're talking about. There is a reason why Instagram now does not kind of let you switch to your external browser when you're trying to buy something on the shop. Yeah. Everything ends up as social media content. So if you're going to be a content strategist, you're not relegated to reels and statics and stuff like that. Everything then becomes content, right? News is content. Podcasts have a place to reside, which is the Spotify podcast section. You'll still see clips of podcasts on Instagram, right? Everything makes its way to social inevitably. You're just seeing that trend at play. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. But what we might see is different formats from different channels coming to social. He had that question about outdoor, right? Yeah. No problem.
So before we end today's session, one huge round of applause for Viren and for sharing all the insights.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you.